Some of the statistics that you were bringing up in your Tom episode, I thought were shocking, which was like over 40% of people don't have any kind of investment. And then I think it was 80% of people have it inherited wealth, which is something that I guess we haven't been told, or that's just not the common story, I guess, that we all collectively believe. Like we think people that are wealthy, were born that way. And it was all just like this generational wealth. And I think for the first time, you're seeing normal people get extremely wealthy from cryptocurrency investments.
Yeah. So the stats are 80% of millionaires inherited $0.
Millionaires, okay.
45% of them, yeah, 45% of Americans have no investable assets. They just live paycheck to paycheck, have cash sitting in their bank account. That's pretty much it. On top of that, what if you really start to kind of dig through some of this stuff is take Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. Like he is an immigrant who came to America and accomplished the American dream. And people want to yell and scream and say, oh, this is horrible. This guy's so evil. He has all this money. And it's like, sure, maybe you agree or disagree with whatever he's doing. But like, again, quintessential immigrant story of the American dream coming to fruition. And so you can go through the wealthiest people in America over and over and over again. And a lot of them came to this country with nothing and were able to build a life of financial security. And so I think that what people end up not knowing is that when you start to unpack the people who make kind of large financial gain or become wealthy, it's not who you expect. And so another stat that people just blows their mind is if I asked you what are the 5 occupations that are most likely to become a millionaire, one of them you'll never get, which is teachers.
No
And that
way.
sounds insane. Yeah, it sounds insane, right? But the reason is teachers get paid on average in the United States, $40 to $50,000. If you work as a teacher for 20 years, you get paid $1 million, a top line salary. You got to pay taxes, your expenses, etc. So how the hell do they become a millionaire? Well, most teachers basically do 2 things. They live well within their means. I didn't have a single teacher in elementary school, middle school, high school that was showing up with a Ferrari or a leased Rolex or, trying to go on fancy vacations or any of that stuff, right? They just tend to live within their means. They're not trying to compete with their neighbors to see who looks wealthier, etc. The second thing that they do is that they're very, very disciplined financially. Some of that's because they actually don't make that much money. And so they don't take on huge amounts of debt. They live within their means. And what they usually end up doing is the ones that invest, they simply just dollar cost average into simple things like the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ. And they don't try to get cute with going out and, betting a bunch of money as an angel investor or doing any of this kind of crazy stuff. And so they follow very timeless investing principles over decades and they end up becoming millionaires. And so that's not the narrative, right? The narrative in society is like, oh, you've got to go build a huge company or you've got to go and make some crazy, flashy investment. And
Hmm.
that's how you become a millionaire. But teachers are one of the top 5 professions in America that become millionaires. Now, some of that also is if you then look and you compare it to, let's say, doctors actually have an incredibly hard time getting into a good financial position. Why? Because one, they leave school after all that training with incredible 6 figures worth of debt that they've got to get out of. The second thing is that they are working in an occupation where there's constant keeping up with the Joneses. Oh, you got a Ferrari? Now I need to get a Lamborghini. Oh, you got a 7-bedroom house? I got to get an 8-bedroom house. Oh, you want to go on this vacation? All right, my wife and I will go on the vacation with you, right? And there's constant keeping up with the Joneses. And so they don't live within their means. And so when you start to think about this, it's okay, what can I learn from this if I'm an average person, right? An everyday citizen? It's real simple. Like live within your means, don't spend more than you make, get the hell out of debt, make sure that you invest in things that will make you rich over a long period of time, stay super patient and don't do dumb shit. Like that's pretty much it, right?
That's
And
the recipe.
and yeah, it's just, and that's been the recipe for literally decades and decades and decades. It's just now there's all this shiny stuff that everyone wants to get all excited about. And what you end up finding is that the story of like the day traders, right? Whether you're day trading stocks or anything else, most day traders lose money. And I always tell the story of in 2017, Bitcoin went from $1,000 to $20,000. It went up 20x in a single year. All you had to do was buy Bitcoin on January 1st, and you could have sold it on January 7th or on December 17th, and you would have made $20,000. But I know many, many people who lost money in 2017 on Bitcoin. Why? Because they were buying and selling it all day long, trying to trade it. And what they ended up doing was actually buying at the wrong times and selling at the wrong times. And
Hmm.
so from my standpoint, it's like, unless you are an expert trader, stop trading. Stop pretending to do something that you don't know what to do, and instead just apply super simple principles over long periods of time. And that discipline and patience will end up actually making you way wealthier than anything else you could do.